Thank you very much. Yeah, the Urgency Committee, that's something we haven't done for a little while. It was set up specifically for COVID, so hopefully it's long gone and I will soon be off that committee and it'll be put in the dustbin of time. So it's wonderful to see you all today, and there's some faces I recognise, there's some new faces out there, which is great, so if at the end you want to come and say hello, it would be most welcome. So I'm going to start because, like Ruth, I went to the Charles Cryer Theatre on Saturday and I saw the same documentary. And I was sitting next to Ruth actually at the time, and I think we both had exactly the same feeling. It was absolutely horrific. It was truly harrowing. And for me, two things really jumped out. The first was how brave those protesters are. You know, seeing their plight touched me and I felt truly humbled. And of course, the second is entirely relevant what I'm going to talk about tonight, and that is how lucky we are to live in a free and open society. And if I'm honest, and this is a bit of an uncomfortable truth, I think some people in this country take that for granted. But we are where we are. It is a privileged position we're in, and it's a position that allows us to hold elections where we're free to put alternative views across and challenge the administration without fear of reprisal. And that is a good thing. After all, that is democracy. And I'm sure that both Paul, who you'll hear from in a minute, and Ruth will agree with me when I say a strong opposition is a good thing. It allows for scrutiny and debate, so matters and issues can be looked at and eventually decided on by a vote. I think it's the right way to do things and something we should not take for granted. So we heard from Ruth about the council and what the council does, and she covered everything and what she does. There is one thing I'd like to add, and that's the relationship between the council and the MPs. Let me be clear, the MPs are national. They deal with national politics. We deal on the council with local politics. Now, that's not to say the MPs aren't interested in what goes on at the council. It's not to say that they won't work with the council if asked. But Paul Scully and Elliot Cockburn, and for that matter, Boris Johnson, do not run this council. They're not my boss, and they're not Ruth's boss. And I think Paul, being Labour, will definitely say it's not his boss. But, you know, it is that separation between local and national politics. And please, when you come to the elections in May, that should be remembered and really thought about. So, the opposition group. Well, our primary role is to scrutinise and hold the administration to account. And it's fair to say, as groups, there are a number of issues we do disagree on. For example, we want lower parking charges in town centres, which we think will encourage footfall, and Ruth's party has an alternative point of view. That's just one example, but it should be recognised that both groups have legitimate points of view. We do, however, disagree, and that's not a bad thing. It's right and proper and healthy for us to have these differences. It's good for there to be alternative viewpoints, and to be blunt, opposition and disagreement makes for better decisions. It makes you think about your policies, it makes you consider your policies, and therefore you come to a point where you can stand by your policy because it's been properly scrutinised and you are happy to be held accountable for it. But this is only one part of it. I've got some good news. We don't always disagree. In fact, I don't have to think that far back to a couple of councils ago where we voted for a motion that Ruth put forward. And actually, bizarrely, that motion was challenging central government, and we voted for it. So we're in this sort of weird dichotomy where I'm suddenly voting for something which is going to challenge my government. Now, why did we as a group do that? We did it because we felt it was right for Sutton. And as elected councillors on the council, we do what is right for Sutton. It goes both ways as well. So we've put forward a motion, and Ruth's party put forward some amendments to it, and we debated it, and both parties kind of went, you know what? Yeah, get that. So we voted for it. It passed. It became council policy, and it was enacted. And that's where democracy really does work for the benefit of everybody and all residents in Sutton. So I hope you can see we don't always disagree, and politics in Sutton shouldn't be like Prime Minister's question times, where you have the two swords between the parties just to keep them apart. There's the jeering and the pointing and well, we won't go into what is said or what isn't said in the chamber, but it shouldn't be like that. But that's not to say that we shouldn't give robust debate, and things can and do get heated in the chamber. And the reason being, and I have no doubt about this, whether it's an independent councillor, a Liberal Democrat councillor, a Conservative councillor, or perhaps after May, some Labour councillors, every councillor that sits on the council does it because he wants or she wants what is best for Sutton. And that's why we do it. So, So I'm not quite as slick with my notes as Ruth or Bernard, so please excuse me. So I thought I'd quickly come on to the priorities of my party in the coming up elections. So clearly there are many things we would want to change in Sutton. And I don't have, like Ruth said, I don't have enough time to go through everything. But I'll just tell you a few of the priorities that we would be looking for as a council. We would be a council that really listens to what you have to say. If we consult, we will honour the result of the consultations and not carry on regardless. We will also look to keep council tax as low as possible whilst getting you true value for money. We will hold our contractors to account to ensure residents get the core services that they deserve and pay their taxes for. Things like street cleaning. And as I alluded to earlier, we will do all we can to help businesses on the high street by encouraging visitors to Sutton and footfall. So, if I'm leader of the council in May, there will be change in Sutton, but it will be managed change. I will positively encourage debate, dialogue, and proper scrutiny of what we would do as administration. Why? Because like everything we do as for local Conservatives, it will be for the benefit of Sutton. Thank you very much.